For a long time, the Dolphins, it's always been the bridesmaid and never the bride. Last time we were left at the altar in 1986 and 1983. We made it that close and got dumped. 26 years since then. And this season does provide some spark and excitement to at least be in consideration for somebody to say, I do. For us to make the playoffs, to do damage, and to be respectful. Now, it's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but there is that hope. So as I was digging through the AFC, because, you know, football is not a vacuum. Like, oh, my team's a rotisserie team or whatever. You got to play all these other teams. But as I was looking at all the talent that has come into the AFC, looking at all the teams with all the talent around, all the teams that are viable teams to get in my Finn's way or to make the playoffs, to make trouble, to do whatever to be successful teams, I was astounded. It popped out at me like a flashing light. The 2022 AFC Conference is a football lovers or connoisseurs' dream season. When you go through it, there's only 3 teams that if you had to bet the house, your life, your kids on, that you'd put that bet on to say, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. There's the Jets, the Jags, and the Texans. Now, anything's possible, but those are the only 3 teams that you could say, when you go back and look at all these other teams, there's real possibility there that they can make the playoffs, they can win the division, they can do something. And out of 16 teams, 13 teams are in contention at this point. Things change, you know, injuries, whatever. But right now, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Titans, Colts, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos, all teams that you have to worry about. Maybe the Steelers is like, well, you know, they don't really got the quarterback. They don't got Big Ben anymore. But that's a really tough-nosed team, man. So maybe you could say 4 teams. But I wouldn't count the Steelers out just yet. But that's a lot of talent, a lot of quarterback talent, a lot of talented teams. And, you know, it's very easy for us Finn fans to say, oh, you know, our team, and if it's not our team, But I learned, as I said, since 1986 to now, it's 26 years. The distance between now and probably when I'm 6 feet in the earth is less time. So I only have a limited, finite amount of watching football and being on this rock. And so I've learned over the years, as I've been jilted, to really enjoy the game of football. Nothing's like my team winning. Nothing. You know, it's the most exciting, the most fun. I feel totally fulfilled when my team wins. Other teams, you know, it's like, yeah, but, you know, it's still like, it's not my team. But I've learned to enjoy other players, other teams, just the game of football itself because I view it as an art form. Still not as sweet when the Dolphins aren't the team, but still. So I've built that up. And as I go into the season, I got the Dolphins with that hope, that possibility. Still some concerns. We got to see it play out. I'm not writing any checks, but there is a lot of hope here. So I'm riding that horse, and then I'm riding this horse from week 1 to week 18 to the postseason. The AFC is going to present some phenomenal football. I mean, when you look at there's contention, real contention. The weakest division is the AFC South, and you got the Titans, and now the Colts with Matty Ice battling it out. So there is heavy competition there, and every division's like this. So I'm going to do a multi-part series on the AFC because I love the football. I got all the fans that aren't Dolphin fans. They're like, you know, can you cover my team? Where's my film? I love covering all the teams because I just love the game. So this is a way for me to start breaking into that stuff, to cover all the people's teams, and also for Finn fans and myself to get a clear view of where we're at because I'm hearing high expectations from the fans. And fans have to understand it's not just your team, it's what teams are around you and the circumstances. You look at the Raiders of the 70s, those were unbelievable teams. Unfortunately, they came up against the Dolphins in the early 70s. They came up to Steelers in the mid to the late 70s, and the Steelers were just a little bit better, and they were awesome. So were the Raiders, but they were just a little less awesome. And so there's a lot of good teams that in other years would make a lot more hay they're going to be make this year because they just have to battle out. But the beauty is whatever team comes out of the AFC is going to be so battle tested. They are going to earn it. I don't remember in all my time the AFC being, or any division conference being this jacked with talent. You look at the NFC, you got teams that like maybe, you're not really going to, it's a long shot for them to really be effective teams. Giants, Eagles, yeah, it's up and down hurts. Commanders, talented team, but what about the quarterback? And they always pitter out towards the end. Lions, Bears, Panthers, Falcons, Saints, Seahawks, Vikings. I like Cousins, but never seem to put it all together. That's 10 teams out of 16 teams. But when you look at the AFC, you got maybe 3 or 4 teams out of 16 teams. That is some high-level competition. Now, there's other teams, the AFC, it's even more profound because there's a lot of teams like these small windows. They got to make stuff happen this year, next, and maybe the year after. Bills, they got a compressed window because of all their signings and contracts where they're going to have to rebuild around Allen, which is not a terrible thing. So they got 2 or 3 seasons right now of where they've got their talent, their team, their roster built. Dolphins, they got maybe 2 seasons unless there's something magical with their draft next year. Ravens, what about Jackson? They're gonna re-sign him? They're not gonna re-sign him? Is he, it's a big deal. Watson, you brought Watson and traded all these picks. That's gonna crush your cap down the road and reduce your talent. He's got 2 or 3 seasons too before they're gonna have to let people go. Bengals, they got a long window because they got Burrow if he can stay healthy. But are they gonna fall back and lose that momentum? Titans with Ryan, that team's built up too. That's got about a 2 or 3 year window. What are they gonna do? And then the Colts, they bring Matty Ice. He's got 1 or 2 more years. So these are teams with very compressed time windows. KC, they got a much longer window, but how long is Andy Reid gonna coach? Are they gonna be able to reinvigorate that team with talent like they had the last 2 or 3 seasons? Last 3 seasons. Raiders. McDaniels, he's going to get fired again like he did with the Broncos? If he doesn't make hay this year and next in a very tough division, is he going to get... So they got 1 or 2 seasons over there. Chargers, they got time, but, Herbert went 9-8. Is he just going to be a guy putting up numbers, or is he able to take him over the hump? They brought in a lot of talent. What's going on there? They got a long time because he's a young guy, but still, some of those other veteran players around him getting a little bit older. Broncos, you gave up a ton for Wilson. Again, that's going to compress your cap and talent. All these teams are scrapping it out, man, and it's going to be exciting. So I'm going to cover each division, starting off with my AFC East. And then as I've been doing my studies, 2 things seem to pop up to the forefront of my brain. One of them is I did a study, I think it was week 4, week 5 last year, what creates an effective defense, because people were wondering that it was does Brian Flores and the Finns defense suck? And I went over what made the top 10 defenses, and I take that information and compile it with the end of the year information to show what makes a good defense, and that's going to help flesh out some of these teams in the AFC. And then another aspect that's a few teams is going to really, I think it's going to make some fans good, and I think the Dolphins fans, it could make them feel very good if things continue going in the right direction. This is a podcast I wanted to do last year, but something I had brought up a couple times. Essentially, it's about the run game. Is it really making a resurgence? I'm not talking about 80s and 90s and early 2000s, but it was pretty much dying. But there seems to be a resurgence, and the value of the run game ties into a lot of stuff here. So I'm going to do this 4 divisions and these 2 podcasts and pull it all together in like a longer series. I'll be doing some other podcasts in between. So this is just my initial step into it because I don't make these things too long. But I'm going to appreciate fans of all the teams and even Finns fans who are just football fans to kind of flesh out my concepts and ideas and my thoughts because, I'm going to miss some stuff. I really think of this as a community process of all of us trying to arrive at better football evaluations together. So it'll be real exciting. It's unbelievable. If you got time, go look over the AFC and just really think about these teams, how talented all these teams are. It's been a very exciting season for us. Anyway, this is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comments mean the most, especially on stuff like this. There's a lot of things that I'm just kind of shooting from the hip on. So I'll get better reads from you guys. Subscribes, likes help us with the Google overlords. And that makes our sponsors happy, which keeps me in business. I like that too. This is Curtis on a short one here. But we're going to attack it a little bit deeper next time. Saying thank you for staying to the end. Catch you next time. And be well. Bookies can earn hundreds to thousands of dollars from booking action with aceperhead.com.